How you doing?
I can't really see you.
Can you see me?
You know, the light's behind you. So,
Can you see me?
how old are you?
35.
Okay. Uh, what are the women? What are they getting wrong?
Um, I'm 35. I'm a personal trainer. I'm a business owner. Got an 8-year-old son. To make it short and simple, it's just the ability to listen, not hearing to respond, but listening to respond and work with the man, as opposed to seeing it like you trying to tell him, you're trying to tell him what to do, or you're trying to come across like you're not, you know what I'm saying? Like I was listening to the last conversation, you was talking about that gap differential, right? And you were saying, you need to be able to teach a woman something. The biggest issue that I find with the different relationships I've been through, and I'm in Chicago, I'm from the South Side of Chicago, that I've been through is that the women find it hard to work with the man because of sometimes how either they were brought up, or if they had two parents in the household. My parents been married 25 plus years.
Okay.
This
Okay.
one
Hold
time
on.
we
Hold on.
ran across.
We're starting. We're kind of starting to ramble. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Women's biggest issue is they're getting wrong their ability to listen in order to hear. Make it simple because you said several things, and one, um, if you want a woman to listen to you, are you talking about women in your past?
No, I'm even talking
Okay,
about.
I need you to stay still. The camera's moving all over the place.
All right, I got you. Can you see me?
Yeah, because go ahead. You're a
No, I
personal
mean
trainer.
I'm making it. I'm making it.
You're a
Yes,
personal
sir.
trainer, and you have
Yeah,
a father. You're a father of an 8-year-old boy or a girl.
boy.
Do you have custody, or does mom have custody?
I just actually won a court battle. That we both got partial custody. I was
Why
going
didn't you
through
and the
that
mother
big
get
debate.
married?
Um, at a young age, at I was shot at 20, and I had some other stuff I was going through, and
You were 27 when you had a kid. Why didn't you marry the mother?
right. So the reason I didn't marry her because I was out doing I was doing my thing. I'm not even gonna BS
What
you.
does that mean?
That means having sex with multiple people, just out living, but always took care of my son. But yeah, I mean,
Okay, so I'm gonna ask a hard question. How many children does she have?
now she had one with me. That was her first. She has two other kids now. So she has three total kids. She lives in Michigan. I live in Chicago.
All right, so you want women like her to
No, hell
listen?
no. Hell no. Not at all.
Or what kind of okay? Who are you talking about then? Because I'm
No,
trying to
I mean
understand.
you said
Okay, okay, but what I'm trying to understand is anytime we say what's going on with women, it usually ties back into something that's going awry in the women we're dealing with.
absolutely. Absolutely. Right. That's just my son's mom. But I'm going back to your general question. To just
Okay,
simplify to make it simple, what I found, because I've dated when I was 32, I had a woman who was making 50,000 a month. And she was 39. No bullshit. She was 39. So I've had a different range, and what I found, just one thing in all my relationships, is just like in the art of conversation, accountability, things like
you're
that.
not making it make sense. You're chest pounding. You're not making any sense.
You Okay, you asked, you
I'm
said, what
32.
are
She is
women getting
39.
wrong?
She's making $50,000 a month. What are they getting wrong? Women are getting wrong. What are they
The
getting wrong? Not
right, I'm
listening.
asking, right, the ability to listen, because listening is cognitive, right, and hearing
Well,
is
I'm gonna tell you.
passive,
I'm gonna tell you. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. I'm hearing.
right,
I am a man,
right, absolutely.
and I'm having a hard time understanding you. Maybe men need to become better communicators. Maybe you need to become a better communicator, because
Absolutely.
I am struggling to stay on the path of you.
Okay, so let me,
So much so that I've had to ask you 2 or 3 times to reframe it. So I agree, women need to listen in general, but I also can understand if we are not clear in what we are given. See, Sun Tzu will tell you that if the army does something wrong, first you blame the general. Did the
Right.
general give clear orders? Were the orders understood? Could the troop
Right.
follow it out? If so, then the fault belongs in the commander. But if on the second turn, if it's done wrong and everything else remains the same, then the fault belongs on the soldier. If you are the commander and your orders aren't being followed, the first person that's at fault is the general.
Okay.
Are you sure that the women you're trying to get to listen to you understand you, can carry out what you want to carry out?
I mean, yeah, it definitely comes down to who you pick, and I mean, it's through trial
But
and error.
what I'm
Absolutely.
saying, are you
I agree
sure
with you.
when you're communicating with somebody that they understand you and that they can carry out what you're asking to be carried out?
Repeat that one more time for me.
Are you sure that the people you're talking to understand what you're saying and have the ability to do what it is
Right.
you want done?
So in some occasions it's yes, in some occasions it's
Well,
no.
in this occasion where it's no, you can't expect anything different.
Right. No. Absolutely. And then at that point in time, it's up to the man, like, or people in general, to cut that off and learn from that. What I'm just basically answering and I hear everything that you're saying. I'm listening. Is you said, what are women getting wrong? And I'm not going all into deep conversation about everything else. I'm just saying, for me, for my group of men that I know, my homies, my friends, and whatever like that, it's just the ability to have a conversation, to listen. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
I
Because
would
what you
say
don't,
that I hear you,
and
but
that's all I'm saying.
okay. I hear you, but I'm also going to challenge to men in general, black men in particular. Far too often, black men, we just ramble and talk. One of my abilities is I get straight to the point and I cut through the clutter. You want someone to listen to you, you gotta keep. There's something called the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it
Right.
simple.
Right.
Because if ultimately there's a communication breakdown, that's two ways. Communication breakdown is always two ways, and more often than not, it's a breakdown in people not communicating. The person doing the communicating not being clear. Less often, it's the person being actively listening. That's the less part. But I agree with what you're saying. Appreciate it. Yes, modern women need to be more patient. Granted, but patience needs some security. Patience without security or knowing you're going to get the outcome you want is foolish. It's just waiting. Two, read your Sun Tzu. It is the general's responsibility to give clear, concise direction. And oftentimes, I will say that I even suffer from that, thinking I was saying one thing and it wasn't. So you'll often hear me say, what does that mean to you? I'll repeat what I'm saying. I'll make sure the person heard what I said. I'll even say, repeat it. Why? Because that's communication. See, I think there's a possibility that many men need to improve your communication skills, and having a lack of communication skills frustrates men because women are not doing what we're asking. Well, are you communicating clearly? That's the first question you always got to ask. Am I communicating clearly and concisely? If not, if that's then, can they do it? If those two things are aligned, then you can have some expectation. That'll help you in your personal and professional life.
How you doing, Kevin?
I'm well. How old are you?
35.
All right. And what are women getting wrong today?
I think it's the feminine aspect. In general. I was married for 6 years.
Okay.
I have 2 kids out of that marriage, and from what I see, most of the time, in relationships past that and with that, is just that feminine side of things. They want to kind of take over. At a certain point, when a man tries to allow them to have a voice, allow them to, try to make some decisions together and do some things. And just the nagging overall.
Oh, okay, okay. Let's make it clear. Are you saying that women have a problem with the feminine aspect? Or are you saying it sounds like you're saying women are being masculine?
Yes, women are being too masculine.
All
Absolutely.
right, and then you said something about when you allow them to say again that you allow them to what?
To have more of a say so in the relationship.
More of a say so in what regard?
I would say just in the aspect of they want certain things to transpire, like maybe you helping out with certain aspects of the child care, or you helping out with certain aspects of just around the house things.
Well, I don't understand where a woman can be in her masculine by asking you to help with the kids. So I'm not being clear. What are you allowing her more latitude with that's in the masculine realm?
I would just say just feeling like they're the one in control of certain things,
Such as?
such as with the kids, with the kids, or just
Such as?
such as, let's say, how the child should be bathed, or how the dishes should be washed, or where they should be put. It's the tone.
But what I'm not understanding, brother. That's the purview of women. Like why do we have any input in that at all?
That's my thing. If the man is already handling the situation, but they
Okay.
want,
But
if,
why are you handling it?
why? Because in my situation, I was able to be home more often.
But that's not your see, listen to what I'm about to say. You said that women are problem with the femininity and they're being too masculine, but you're in her territory. What you just described was a man who was not in his masculine. You were in the feminine space. And you can't be tripping that a woman treated you like a woman in her space.
So
Just because you were home.
not really home, but I mean,
It doesn't matter. That's her space. Women, let's say you were rich, right? You could still be home. You know, just like I know, women have a different way of nesting. They like the house to look a certain way. We're supposed to be responsible for the outside, and they're responsible for the inside. They like the pillows fluffed a certain way, this, that. And just because you can fluff a pillow, that's their job. You ain't asking her to cut the yard or edge it, are you? I mean, she could do it, but you know how to do it different. You're in her space.
and I would say also the aspect of being able to take in information. I heard what you said to the last person. As the general, are you giving out, what I'm saying, the right orders and measuring those things? And I saw it as I aligned everything, biblically, as I was giving out, those types of things. And she was submissive in the beginning.
Wait, wait, giving her information. What kind of information are you talking about then?
Information such as maybe different ways to handle finances, different ways.
Whose job is it to handle the finance?
I mean, we both handle them.
Okay, see, if you listen to me, this is a good conversation because you mentioned biblically, but I've mentioned this before. Oftentimes we overload our women doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Pressure's made for shoulders, not for hips. Did you have an abundance of finances?
Not at that time. Now I do.
All right, so that's a pressure situation. You're involving a mother in stressful financial decisions. Could you have handled them yourself?
Yeah, I think I could have handled them all myself.
Then you should have. We don't need, and I've done this myself too. That's why I said pressure's made for shoulders, not for hips. See, what you've described is a situation where you're in places you shouldn't necessarily be in the best fit, And then places where you should be 100%, you're delegating. You should stay over here and you let her be over there. If you can't handle the finances, and she's better at it, then that's one thing. But if she's not better at it and more qualified, then your job is to go find somebody who's more qualified, because that's the security of the house. And let her fluff the pillows. But so you describe a situation where the house has overlapping roles. And that doesn't really work that well. I've been there. It doesn't work that well.
It don't work.
I don't live that way now.
Right.
See, the problem that I agree, a lot of our women are in their masculine because too many of us are abdicating our masculine and giving to their area. So if you've ever, I don't know if you ever had any Hispanic or Mexican friends, I was surprised to see.
I'm half Puerto Rican.
I was surprised to see how little the men they really did around the house. Even though they could do, black men would have been up doing this and doing that. When I went by my Mexican friend's house, the guys were in the guys' room and the women were doing, and there was peace, happiness, joy, and little Coronas and shit. Yeah, man. So just think about it this way. Even though I have a client who's a multimillionaire, and they were having marital issues. And I told them they hadn't had sex for months. I was like, what I need you to do is I need you to get up in the morning and leave the house before the crack of dawn, and then you come back after it's dark. And don't tell your wife. You tell your wife you've been out checking on the businesses. I need you to do that for a week. And he called back on the Wednesday and said, oh my God, after a few days, she jumped on me. And we've been going at it like teenagers. And I was like, what I need you to do is I need you to go rent an office space and executive space and go put a PlayStation in there. But I need you to get up and go. Like you're leaving to go to work every day. He's like, why don't you do that? I'm a multimillionaire. Because your woman needs to see you go to work. Women do not need us in their space all the time. They want us away. Even though we can be there, we need to give women time to decompress, time to miss us, time to fart, pick their nose. They human. Right. Time to talk shit with their friends on the phone, and then come home and let her do what she has to do. You do what you got to do and kind of stay in our roles. I think you probably have better outcomes in your next situation if you just kind of keep that top of mind.
Yeah, and I've seen it, like you said, with women of other cultures. Mm-hmm. Just like you said, the submissiveness, as well as, you know, them wanting to cook dinner without you saying nothing. They got everything ready. They just move, you know, in a different mindset of, you know, what the roles are. The roles are clearly defined, and I think in my personal situation, you know, those roles could not be clearly defined because of our backgrounds. You know?
And so knowing that going forward, as the man, what I would suggest doing is define them for yourself and understand that, you know, is this the purview of the woman or more of the feminine or more of the masculine? Does it revolve in protection and provision, or does it revolve for maintenance? Maintenance is hers. You protection and provision. Let her put the babies to bed while you worry about how to get the checkbook balanced. Think it'll work better in the future. And here's the thing. Just because we didn't learn it growing up or didn't see it growing up doesn't mean we can't correct it and do better next time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Chief. Later.
Appreciate you, man.